This video is partially made possible by Gigabyte. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video review. Today we're gonna have a look at the Cooler Master Silencio 550 case. Alright, so this is the case, and some of you will immediately go, wait, what? Isn't that a Fractal Design R3? Well, no it isn't, my friends, but I will not deny that this case is very much like it. But then again, there are many differences between both cases. The biggest one maybe being the price, as this one is much cheaper. And don't be fooled because of that, I have to say that this case is equally as good, or perhaps even better. Now, as you can see, the front of the case is a mirror, yes, and that is pretty cool. But let's not forget the negative point about this. It is not very fingerprint resistant. But let's not also forget that this is a door. And this door is held into place with magnets. And some people may find that this opens the wrong way, some may not. And also note the noise absorbing material on the inside of the door. Now we can also see that there are three 5¼ drive bays, of which one is a hot swappable bay for 3.5" hard drives. And underneath that there is room for up to two 120mm fans behind this dust filter module right here. And you can also replace this included 120mm fan with one 140mm fan. As you can see, this is the dust filter. And well, you can remove it and you can wash it very easily, and you can put it back in, and the magnet right here kind of helps you with that, like this, and that's it. The front bezel is also removable just by pulling from the bottom, as you can see here. And on both sides there are intakes for the fans to intake cool air. Now on the top of the front bezel you can find a USB 3 port, a microphone headphone jack, a USB 2 port, an SD slot, a reset button and a power button, and a hard drive activity LED here, and the power LED is built into the power button. Then having a look at the side panels of the case, they look quite boring at first maybe, but it's quite interesting to know that there is noise dampening material on the inside of these side panels. Now the noise dampening material used on the right side panel is flat, because otherwise it's hard to route cables behind the motherboard tray. And they actually used to make this case with it not being flat first, but they quickly changed it after having had some negative response on that. So keep it up, Cooler Master. On the top of the case they decided not to really do anything, no extra fan options or anything, to keep the noise level down and improve airflow. On the back of the case we can find one grounded hole for the USB 3 cable to come through. Unfortunately that cable hasn't got a direct connector for the motherboard. Here is the space for the motherboard's I/O shield. Here you can install an optional 80mm or 92mm fan, but they already include a 120mm fan here. There are 7 expansion slots, 2 more grounded holes for water cooling tubes to go through, and here you can install your standard ATX power supply. And to finish the exterior of the case, on the bottom there are 4 HDPC style feet with rubber on them, and there's also the dust filter for the power supply's intake fan. But unfortunately I noticed that this dust filter isn't easy to take out of underneath the case when the case is standing up, as there is almost no room to grab it. Now having a look at the interior of the case, it's all black inside, as are the cables from the front panel. The motherboard tray has a big cutout for the CPU cooler's retention plate, as well as some cable management holes around it and punch outs to attach cables to. The motherboard tray supports micro ATX and standard ATX motherboards. In the back of the case we can again see the included 120mm fan, which has a 3-pin to Molex connector adapter. And as you can see, the 7 expansion slots have thumb screws, which is really useful. And then more to the bottom, where you install your ATX power supply, there are 4 rubber feet for it to rest on. And Cooler Master also gives you this rubber, well 2 actually, but for some reason there was only 1 included with the accessory box of my review sample here. Cooler Master normally includes 2 of these, but there was something wrong with the accessory box. Which is something that very rarely happens actually. But anyway, there are 2 of these, and normally they would go here. You can stick them with the tape to the case, and that would reduce vibrations, thus also the noise level. Now something quickly that I wanted to add as well, because of this incident here with the accessory box. In case you have this problem, normally you could go to your store where you bought the case and you could ask for warranty. Moving over to the drive bay area, there are 3 5¼ drive bays, of which 2 are toolless, and installing a 5¼ device in one of these drive bays is very easy because of the toolless design, of course, and you do it just like this. And here's the area for the 3.5" devices, and you can install a total of 7 of those. Now this area consists of two hard drive cages. The top one is removable or rotatable to increase airflow or have more room for longer graphics cards. Note that you have to screw out 4 screws to take the cage out though. Installing a hard drive is tools and very easy, by the way, because of the rail system. So you take your hard drive, you take 2 rails and you install them on either side of the hard drive, just like that, and then you can slide the hard drive in place, and that's it. And note that Cooler Master includes a 3.5 inch to 2.5 inch drive adapter for 2.5 inch devices such as solid state drives. And what else they include are zip ties, a motherboard speaker, the included screws, the other rails for the hard drives, some anti-vibration rubbers for fans, and 2 of these, but as I said before, there's only 1 in the accessory box which I got, but normally that would be 2. So something I normally don't do is film the case while I'm building a computer system in it, in these kind of reviews, but that's something I'm gonna do more often now, I think. But yeah, that's so I won't forget most of the things that I ran into, the problems that I can run into. For example, here I have one problem being this. It's a cable management hole. As you can see, this is my power supply, and this is the room I got to make those cables go in there. Or if I turn around, the power supply can go from here in there. Now I would have to stick those cables through that hole before I fasten the power supply. I sometimes do that already, but in this case really it's not a lot of space left even when the power supply is installed. Alright, and I finished building the case and I've tested the airflow of this case, as I've had some negative response. Well, I've read some negative response on that, and honestly I agree with the negative response. Holy moly, who was the idiot at Cooler Master who said, we want a silent case, and how are we gonna do that? Well, yeah, we've got noise absorbing material, which is great, so yeah, keep that. But who was the idiot that said, and let's add some low RPM fans with a low airflow, because that'll be silent, but it's not giving any airflow, man. So seriously, why did you do that? These fans suck. I just opened this case after playing some Battlefield Bad Company 2. And it's the first time ever that I actually opened the case and then all the heat just flew right into my face. It was weird, actually. And yeah, the top of the case, like, you know, here, if I put my hand here, it still feels warm, and it felt very hot when I was playing that game on my computer here. So airflow sucks in this case. I don't like to say it, but it does. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install some other fans, some other Cooler Master fans, the cheap ones, which cost about 5 euros each, and hopefully that'll fix the problem. So I just want to test this because I don't want people to think that the airflow in the case sucks. I just want to prove that it's the fans that suck. Alright, then again I'll do this in a second. First I'm gonna show you guys how the build was. So I showed you that there's, well, not a lot of space here, but what I did was I took the power supply out of the case, I held it like this, and then I stuck the cables through the hole, and then I positioned it and screwed it down. And in that way the cables here are, well, actually very nice and clean there. And I was able to route them behind the motherboard tray quite easily. Yeah, even the 24-pin here looks quite nice. There's one problem which I'll show you when I turn around the case. But overall, cable management is pretty good, also because there's holes on the top here. And compared to the Fractal Design R3, for example, the R3 has a few holes here, or one hole here, but not there, so it's hard to route, you know, the 8-pin cable over here. But anyway, it's easy to do that here, and let's have a look at the back of the case now. First thing I'm gonna say before it's too late, you can see all the bends and scars here. They might come out after a while, but this is because the noise absorbing material touches the cables here. So yeah, as you can see, I had some issues with that, as I had to kind of push the panel on using my knee, 1 foot, and my 2 hands on, yeah, I had to put the case on the ground for that, of course. So it was quite hard to put side panel on, even though the noise absorbing material is flat. But I guess it's a lot easier now that it is flat, instead of it being like, you know, all the bumps here, like it used to be. But yeah, let's not brag about that all the time. Let's continue with the cable management. And I said I had a problem, and it wasn't the problem with the noise absorbing material, it was a problem with this edge here, which is a bit ridiculous in my opinion. I guess they wanted to make some kind of compartments between, well, you know, between this area and this area, but that's stupid, because if you want to route cables, like, you know, this one here, this is a front panel cable, I can't route it underneath this one hole that they leave here, so that's where, well, this one touches the noise absorbing material, so that's stupid. The cables here for the what's it called again? See, I'm forgetting everything. The power SATA cables, that's it. Well, they have to come through here, so that's not looking really nice on the other side. And then they have to go like here to the hard drive cage, and then underneath here to the power supply. Instead of just letting them go through here, then I could have routed them around here, kind of something like that. Let them give some power to the hard drive and then go to the power supply, which would have looked a little bit nicer, and that way I shouldn't also have used the hard drive gauge here for, you know, cable management, which is kind of odd to do, but yeah, that's what I did. But overall, cable management is better than I thought. Yeah, the holes should have been a bit bigger, especially this one, but other than that, that one just has to be a bit bigger. This thing shouldn't be in the way. Other than that, it's perfect. But now let me install the extra fans which I talked about, and I'm going to show you guys those quickly. Then I'm going to test them, and then I'm going to give you my overall conclusion. Alright, and I quickly installed these fans here. I'm going to quickly show them to you. So I've got a fan here, so those are two in front and one in the back here. And yeah, this one has a fan grill because it was already installed in that and was a bit too lazy to take it off. It doesn't really matter. Now these fans each have about 70 CFM and 19 decibels that they produce, so they should be good. And I'm gonna test this now, playing Battlefield Bad Company 2 again. Then I'm gonna see what the temperatures are. The overall temperatures inside were about, 65 degrees Celsius that I had, which was very hot. So now to conclude the review of this case. Well, let's start with the good things. I have to say that styling is amazing. The mirror in front is something that you don't really see all the time, and it's a nice addition to the case. Unfortunately, it's not that fingerprint resistant, but it's more fingerprint resistant than you might think. So don't really be bothered about it being fingerprint resistant. You can, you know, clean those off if you want very easily. Other than that, the installation in this case is quite easy as well. You have many cable management holes. They only should have been bigger, and that one edge there that I showed you earlier should have been gone. It shouldn't have been there. But other than that, cable management is very good in this case. Also, I like how they added the dust filter in the front. It's really easy to take out, it's really easy to wash, you know, all that, and it's a really simple system, so that's also a plus. And also the toolless design and the hard drive cage system, which they often use, is also very nice. But then there are a few negative things. The small one being that the USB 3 cable is one that you would have to install in the rear I/O of your motherboard and not directly to your motherboard, so that's a negative point in my opinion. And then you have the airflow, which is bad with these stock fans, so I will really recommend you to buy extra fans that would replace the stock ones and use the extra spot in front. So do that, please. You could use this case for a home theater PC setup, because in my opinion that's what it's more aimed at. You have noise absorbing material, HDPC style feet, an SD card slot, you have the USB 3 and USB 2 option in the front, and all that really shows that this case is more aimed to be a home theater PC case instead of a gaming case. Now I think that's probably all that I have to say about this case, and well, the award that we're giving is the Awesome Award. Now, thanks for watching this video review, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, comment here on YouTube or on the website. Don't forget to also like, and thanks to Cooler Monsters for sponsoring us with this case, and I'll see you all in the next video.